Hey everybody, it's Kay Nicole, and you all know what I'm all about. I'm all about being free, and I've mentioned before that it starts in the mind. And so I talked before about thinking about what you're thinking about, which is the first step to being free in your mind. Of course, you want to think about what you're thinking about, but then you may be thinking, okay, well, I'm not always in control of what pops into my brain or what all of a sudden I start thinking about. And you're right. So what do when you start thinking about something that you want to release? First thing you don't want to do is resist it. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is don't get upset with yourself for thinking about something that you don't want to think about. Don't try to tell yourself, block it out of your mind, just don't think about it, because then you have the whole pink elephant thing going on. Let's do a quick exercise. Close your eyes, and what I want you to do, whatever it is, don't think about a pink elephant. You're doing it. You're thinking about a pink elephant. I know that's what you're doing, because that's just what happens. In order for you not to think about something on purpose, you have to think about it first in order to not think about it. So we don't want to resist it. We don't want to try to make ourselves not think about something. We want to allow it to be there, but just kind of gloss over it. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing you can do is limit your time around negative thinkers. I don't think I have to go on and on about that. It is what it is. Some people just keep that going in your mind because they themselves are ruminating over things, and they themselves get stuck in negative thinking. And so when you have those individuals in your lives and you're trying to work on adjusting your own mindset, then you're really going to have to limit your time with those people. The second thing you can do is just change the channel. Okay, when you're watching TV and something comes on, maybe a commercial or maybe it's a program that you don't particularly like, you don't sit there and watch it but complain the whole time about how you don't like it. You pick up the remote and you change the channel. And that's what we want to do when we notice those things. We don't want to argue, fight against it, get mad about it, get all frustrated and anxious over it. We're just going to just change the channel. Kind of like if any of you have children, nieces, nephews, little children, and they're crying because they have a little boo-boo, and then you say, oh my gosh, look at their roly-poly, and then all of a sudden they forget all about their boo-boo. It's the same thing. We're just going to distract ourselves and move to something different. Okay, and so the third thing you can do is just switch your perspective. A lot of the times the things that we're thinking about, the feeling that comes from that is really more coming from our perspective about what we're thinking about than the actual thing itself. So if you notice that thing and you want to allow it to be there because it's really something that maybe you need to think about or that you feel like you should be thinking about, you want to go ahead and change that perspective. See it from a different view, from a different angle, so that it can begin to lift you out of that helpless, frustrated mode of seeing things. So these are just a couple of recommendations that you can use to start your way into thinking differently, living free of those negative thoughts that weigh you down, those things that continue to replay in your mind that you really need to let go of. The truth of the matter is it's just really not that easy. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm out here just speaking something that you can just do like that. It really takes practice, but it's not impossible, and it gets easier as you practice it. So as always, guys, practice, think about what you're thinking about. Practice thinking about what you're thinking about. I had to try that again. And then also start to just let it go. Release it nicely. Don't resist it, but just release it. As always, be free.